one of the days I just asked myself, like, what do I really want? Am I in school for myself, or am I in school for my parents?
Oof.
But I don't want to live my life for them. I want to live my life on my own accord, doing what I want. Let me ask you this. If you knew you would not fail, how big would you dream? People are afraid to shoot high within their dreams and to aspire these large things and these bigger than life goals because they know how difficult it is and they're scared to fail. I think people always rely on motivation, but they don't realize motivation doesn't last, but discipline lasts. Discipline is the number one thing that separates successful people and unsuccessful people. I'd rather work hard and go after my dream than just live a life of regret knowing that I didn't try enough or I didn't give it my all to try to achieve what I want in life. Imagine in an entire year, you work 40 hours a week only to get 2 weeks off paid to do whatever you want and then enter the same cycle. Yeah. That's when I started to understand that entrepreneurship is not just about having money. It's about...
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mindset Journaling podcast. Here we deep dive into the unique mindsets of our incredible guests, uncovering insight and experiences that will help you think deeper, learn, and understand better on your growth journey. Today we're accompanied by a good friend of mine, Bryan. We've known each other for quite a while. And it's actually funny how we first met.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We'll get into that later. But so Bryan, obviously I know you.
Yeah.
But who is Bryan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just want to start off by saying thank you for having me.
Oh,
it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me over here. You know, I was really excited once you gave me a call. But so I'm Bryan Dacalos. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm an aspiring entrepreneur working every day to better myself and, you know, working towards achieving my goals and living the life that I want to live. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited for sure.
Well, I'm excited for our talk today. So, Bryan, before I jump into anything, I just want to say that ever since the first time I met you, you've always had this energy or this fire. The first time I met you was actually, funny enough, at where I used to work at. Do you want to tell the story or you want me to tell the story?
So I'll go a bit into it. So I moved out of the city, which I originally grew up in, and I went to go back to see my friends, and then we ate, and then we actually went to a dessert place that Vince worked at, and that was the first time I met him there. My friends introduced me to him, but the first thing well, to put into perspective, I was actually wearing a suit. I came in
Oh my God, yeah, you were.
Yeah, I came in wearing a suit. I think I just came back from an open house or something like that. And the first thing I did when I met Vince was I gave him my business card, and I'm like, do you need a house? And the first thing was I tried to sell myself to him, you know, like, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm just trying to sell a house. Like, you need anything kind of thing. So it was just funny in that way where the first interaction that we had, it was literally me trying to upsell you something. You know what I mean?
Taken. I'm working my shift at this dessert restaurant, right? I'm just minding my own business.
Right.
They dined in, they ate, and then you're like, hey, this is Bryan. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you, Bryan.
Yeah.
You know the first thing this guy says to me? Yo, bro, you trying to look for a house? You're looking for a house? I said, nah, I'm not anytime soon. He's like, you know anyone who's looking for a house? I'm like, no. All right, just keep my card. My card just in case.
I had to. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Like, every opportunity you could get, you gotta put yourself out there. Honestly, what was even funnier is that the second time me and Vince actually ended up meeting each other again, it was a volleyball run. And then the first thing Vince did when he came back up to me was he tried to slide me in his business card. He was doing insurance at the time. So it was just funny at that time. It was just like we were just exchanging, and then ever since then, I think that's when we started to pop off the conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, like this guy's very entrepreneurship minded. He's very, very much inclined with the things I'm inclined in. Because that's definitely like the number one thing I think that we have in common that's built our friendship is we're very like-minded. We have similar goals. So it was definitely a funny experience the first time meeting you. So
I remember I saw that you're coming to the runs. Actually, yeah. Did I know you were coming to the runs? I think I just saw you, and then in my mind, I'd be like, it's, you know what'd be funny? If I gave this guy my business card
Yeah.
as a second interaction.
Yeah.
And then from there, we just started
No,
talking.
because you know what? You know what you said? Do you remember what you said?
No.
You literally said, you gave me your card the first time, now it's my turn to give you.
Oh, yes, I did,
That's
bro.
what you said.
I
It
said
was-
exactly that.
It was literally the funniest thing ever, bro. It was the funniest thing ever. It's just like we were just exchanging.
Okay. I want to dive into our first question.
Yeah.
Which is, ever since I met you, obviously with that whole story introduction and everything,
Right.
you were always someone who had a lot of energy and enthusiasm to be more.
Mhm.
What I mean by be more is you were always the type to, you want to stand out, you want to make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Very entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Yeah.
So I want to ask the first question and dive into, what was the point in your life, or what was the realization you had in your life, that moment where you were like, I don't want to be average. I don't want to,
Yeah.
quote unquote, work a 9 to 5. I want to be an entrepreneur. What's your story?
Well, I feel like as early as I can remember, I feel like I've always had this inclination of kind of just being like my own boss. Ever since I was a kid, I was never super inclined to school. It's not that I couldn't do it. It was more just like, I feel like I wanted more. I feel like at an early age, I really understood the whole 9 to 5 cycle thing. And it's not something I wanted to do. I wanted to go into engineering at first, and then architecture. And then, yeah, the older I got, you get exposed to certain things, right? Like you read books, you watch YouTube videos. And I think the most important thing, though, is understanding yourself.
That's a big one.
And I understood who I was. I think from a kid, I've always just wanted to do my own thing. I didn't like listening to people as a kid. Like, I never listened to parents. I didn't like listening to teachers and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Me and you, same.
Like I was very free will in a sense, and I feel like I had this big personality. So I've always known, I think from an early age, that I had this inclination to entrepreneurship, but it wasn't until I really exposed myself into that field and really understood, read more into it, watched more videos, where I'm like, oh, this is something that I can see myself doing. So back in high school, I think we had a careers class. So specifically in careers class, you had to take a specific test that matches your personality to specific
Jobs?
jobs and careers.
I don't remember that, but continue.
And when I did the test, it wasn't like a doctor, it wasn't anything like that. It was entrepreneur.
Really?
Yeah. So, and then that's when I first got the word. I'm like, oh, what is an entrepreneur?
That was an option?
Yeah, it was.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So once I got the entrepreneur, I'm like, oh, so what's an entrepreneur? I didn't know it at the time. It was like grade 9 or grade 10. I think probably grade 10. And then from then I looked more into it. I'm like, oh, this is me. You know what I mean? This is what I wanted. And then obviously you grow up, again, more experiences. But I will say one of the most important things and experiences that I had was returning back to my home country in the Philippines in 2019. And I had an uncle, or not uncle, but yeah, uncle, a grand uncle, my grandma's uncle. And over there, I guess you could say that he was on a higher class, I guess. Well, he was a businessman, he was an entrepreneur.
I know what you mean.
And for the first time, I got to experience sharing kind of a life with a real life entrepreneur, where I was spending time with him. But it wasn't just spending time with him, it's like understanding the life of an entrepreneur. And that comes with obviously wealth. But the most important thing that I saw was time.
What do you mean by time?
He owned his time.
Okay.
In a sense where I want to wake up, I want to do this, I want to do that, and nothing is holding him back to do that, because he's built wealth. He essentially bought free time, and that was the biggest thing for me, is that I was, as a kid and even till now, I had this like free will, in a sense where I just wanted to be free willing, where I want to do whatever I want, and you can't do that if you're working 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine in an entire year, you work 40 hours a week, only to get 2 weeks off paid to do whatever you want, and then enter the same cycle.
Yeah.
That's when I started to understand that entrepreneurship is not just about having money, it's about owning your own time. And that's the most important thing that led me to that path, is that's something I wanted for myself. So eventually it led to real estate, which is the career I'm in now, which is another great career that offers you that time.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate, obviously people know it's a commission-based job. So you don't really get paid working X amount of hours like it is with like a regular job, for example. It's how much work you can put in, or what you can get back. So it's like, if you sell a bunch of houses, then you get X amount of money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I like the idea that
You
you can leverage your time.
You're not capped.
You're not capped. One, you're not capped, and two, it's your time. There's people. Don't get me wrong. There's no shortcuts to anything. You have to put time in, and you have to put the necessary time in to be successful. However, with sales, there's always that possibility where you can put less time in, but make more money. So, for example, real estate. In the hot market, back in 2020 when pandemic hit, and it was close to the hottest market we've ever seen. All-time low interest rates, prices were rising, people wanted to get in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Real estate agents were selling houses the next day after they listed them. An average commission was like, what, let's say 2.5% on $1 million house. So in a span of 2 days, they closed a deal that gives them $25,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, is like, obviously there's a lot of work behind the scenes you have to put in, and there's a lot of work to be successful and to be in that position in the first place. However, it's that time and leverage that is so attractive to me, where I'm like, whoa, I can do this, but you're telling me I still have time to do something else?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. The amount of time that you put in initially starting your own business and starting that entrepreneur path
Yeah.
is probably more hours that you have to put in than even working just a regular job anyways. But it's the end goal that we want.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when we become successful, when we pass that threshold where
Mm-hmm.
we own our time now. We don't have to clock in every single day, because we built an X amount of wealth that allows us to do whatever we want.
Here's the thing too. I like when you talk about time. Entrepreneurship is you owning your own time.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship, at least on social media, is glorified.
100%.
Glorified. You see everyone's
Everyone's an entrepreneur in social media.
everyone you see on every social media is like, life is an entrepreneur. You see these Lambos, cars. Entrepreneurship is glorified, but at the same time, it's hard.
Oh, for sure.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Starting anything is hard, and it takes so much amount of effort.
Yeah.
Which is why, do you think everyone should be an entrepreneur?
So here's the thing. I feel like everyone has their own purpose in their life. At the end of the day, not everyone can be entrepreneurs.
I agree with that.
Not everyone can be entrepreneurs. There's people that have to do certain things in order to society to function. You're gonna need construction workers. You're gonna need people working in hospitals. You're gonna need people working at Tim Hortons and McDonald's. But my thing is, it's all about what you want out of life.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that aspire for bigger things, have big dreams, those are the entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people I would tell them to shoot for your dreams, shoot for the life that you want. You know what I mean? And it's a hard path. It's a very, very hard path. It's very unconventional. And I'm here sitting today as an aspiring entrepreneur. I'm here humble enough to say that I'm not where I want to be, but I'm working towards it every single day, and I'm working towards my dream every single day.
Respects.
Because I'd rather work hard and go after my dream than just live a life of regret, knowing that I didn't try enough or I didn't give it my all to try to achieve what I want in life.
And we're not saying 9 to 5 or working a full-time
No,
job
we're
is bad.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. And what I'm trying to say is that it's not for me.
It's not for me.
It's not for me. It could be for you.
Mm.
It could be for you, but it's not for me. And I think that's what it goes down to. Is just like what I mentioned before earlier, is that you really have to understand yourself.
Oh,
You really have to understand yourself. There's people like I know people in my life that is content with just going to their jobs, coming home every day to their loved ones, you know, and like they have time to play video games, watch shows. They have a roof over their house. They get to eat dinner, and they're content, which is great. And this is what I'm trying to say is that not everyone's supposed to be entrepreneurs. It's just for me, who I am as a person, who I understand myself to be, and what I want out of life. My direction and my path is entrepreneurship, and it's a hard path. It's not easy. It's not easy. You know what I mean? It's hard, and there's a lot of things that you have to do, and that you have to become in order to find success in this path. It's
I
not
agree.
for everyone.
It's definitely not for
It's
everyone.
not for
I
everyone.
think because we're taught to go to school,
Yeah.
graduate, go to another school,
I mean, we both got Asian parents.
go to
You know what the culture is like.
go to another school, graduate,
Yeah.
and then find a full-time job in a good career, suitable
Yeah, then-
suitable career.
Yeah, then be
let's say.
50,000 in debt.
Yeah.
No.
But I also think why a lot of people, it's not that they don't want to be entrepreneurs, but I feel like why a lot of people feel stuck working their 9 to 5 is because this is a big one. Stability.
Oh, for sure.
The stability of you know what you're doing, you have a set schedule,
Yeah.
and you know how much money is coming in and out every single month.
Yeah.
Which, if we relate this back to school, for example, the school system is basically almost the same as your job system. If you think about it as this, they set a schedule for you. They tell you to do and pass certain things or tests or exams. And in a sense, work is kind of the same way, where it's like they have a set schedule for you. They make your schedule. You do these things, you follow it, and you get paid.
Yeah.
I think that because we're so conditioned, we went to school for 18 years of our lives or more
Yeah.
just to go to school following that system.
Yeah.
Breaking out of that system is also hard,
Yeah.
but it's just because we're so used to it that we fall into that trap where it's like the stability over uncertainty of entrepreneurship, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of risks when you're
Yeah.
an entrepreneur,
Uh-huh.
and it's hard. And back to what you're saying about the stability is like people are scared to take the risk because of the fear of failure.
Feel
Right.
free.
When you take this entrepreneur path, it's not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. Whereas if you go to school, you graduate, you're technically guaranteed a job. Maybe not in today.
Dependable.
Maybe not
Debatable.
today,
Debatable.
But that's what it's always kind of been,
Yeah.
right? And that's why parents in very conservative backgrounds, like Asian households, they like that. They like that stability of knowing, go to school, you get the job, and that's it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But people don't want to jump into this because it's not stable. There's no stability. There's risk. Let me ask you this.
Go for it.
If you knew you would not fail, how big would you dream?
Oh, that's easy. To the stars, to the moon.
And that's my point. Is that people are afraid to shoot high within their dreams and to aspire these large things and these bigger than life goals because they know how difficult it is and they're scared to fail.
That's the biggest thing is fear of failure, 100%.
For sure.
But I think, at least for me, what I've conditioned myself is, I've said it before, but my life saying is I rather have more regrets taking action than inaction.
100%.
So that over trumps the fear of failure, which is why at the end of the day, when I'm older and I have children or grandchildren,
Yeah.
I want to tell them that hey, I did all these things. I wasn't afraid to try or take risks because at the end of the day, I don't want to play safe and undermine my potential.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned to help me battle against the fear of failure.
Right.
Putting yourself out there is terrifying, especially for the first time.
What we're doing right now is terrifying.
It's you're not wrong. You're not
You know what I
wrong.
mean?
It's terrifying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I want to say a little quote, and I want your thoughts on it.
Sure.
All right. Here's a quote about entrepreneurship I read in a book that I'll never forget. It's the harsh truth about entrepreneurship is that you can expect to work harder and more hours, but still earn less than a corporate employee.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. The truth about entrepreneurship is that you can expect to work harder and more hours, but still earn less than a corporate employee. The success is not guaranteed, but the struggle is.
I agree. 100%. and exactly what you said about struggle being guaranteed, that's like part of the reason why people are so afraid to take that leap and take that risk is because they're scared to fail. But I think when you enter the path of entrepreneurship, you'll realize very, very quickly that failure is a prerequisite to success. You are bound to fail.
Oh, failure is learning.
Exactly.
You're gonna fail.
You're gonna fail.
You're gonna fail.
As soon as you enter entrepreneurship, there's 3 things guaranteed in life: taxes, death, and then now it's failure. You're gonna fail in life or in the entrepreneur path that you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very important that you don't ever quit.
Never.
It all starts from here, obviously. Right here. It's the mentality. You don't quit, but you take failure head on and learn from it. It's like you said, you have to learn from it. Take it as lessons. Take it, as growing pains, and learn from it, because you're gonna get to the point eventually where you're gonna find that success. Into the outside world, people will look at you, right, and they're like, "Wow, this guy made it. He's so he's successful. He has all the nice cars. He has a big house." But those people don't know all the L's you took. They won't know. They won't know, because all it takes is one big win.
Yeah.
But they don't see all the losses that came before that.
Mm-mm.
It's just like who's who's the guy that made the light bulb? Is it Edison?
Edison?
I don't know.
We might
Sorry.
be choking up.
We're cooked.
I think it's Thomas Edison.
Right. But he had multiple failed experiments until he got that one big one. And same goes with entrepreneurship. You're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail. And all it takes is just that one big break. You can't give up. There's this meme or graphic where there's a guy digging, he's mining,
I've seen this one, yes.
and he gave up only to be so close to the diamonds. And then there's another guy that just keeps digging and digging and digging regardless. That's the guy that will get to the diamonds. Same thing goes with entrepreneurship. The guy that never quits regardless of the failures and all the setbacks that you face, those are the people that will find success. You can ask every single wealthy entrepreneur and a successful one that has made it, not a single one of them will tell you they did not experience failure.
Failure is the master of teaching.
100%. 100%.
So then let me ask you this then. How do you very successful entrepreneurs stay so motivated?
Here's the secret. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline.
Describe discipline and motivation.
Well, motivation is this quick spite of wanting to do something.
Mm-hmm.
One day you wake up, I feel motivated. I feel good. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna work on this. The next day, once you lose that motivation, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna want to go to the gym. you're not gonna work out.
Yeah.
Right? The motivation's gone. Success is built with discipline. Discipline is the choice every day to wake up and to do what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you feel like it, because you have to. And discipline is the number one thing that separates successful people and unsuccessful people.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself, I'll be honest, it's a battle every single day. Try to find that discipline.
Discipline is hard. Well, here's the thing I've learned, because I used to supervise and manage a restaurant.
Yeah.
Using that experience, what I found is this is the biggest lesson or teaching I've learned from being a supervisor or teaching other people, is that if you can make things fun, you can stick with discipline. Do you agree with that? If you can make what is hard, fun, and enjoyable, to actually like want to do that thing,
Yeah.
you can stick with it.
But what if it's just not fun? And that's what I'm trying to say, is that discipline,
Then you got to be creative.
but discipline is that choice.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless if it's fun, regardless if you feel like doing it. Discipline is about doing the things you don't want to do. That's what discipline is about.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I don't like going to the gym. The gym is not fun for me. But I wake up and I still go
Uh-huh.
because it's necessary. It's good for my health,
Good for the mind.
good for the mind, and it builds discipline. You know what I mean? I think people always rely on motivation, but they don't realize motivation doesn't last, but discipline lasts.
So how does an entrepreneur build discipline?
So part of understanding how to be disciplined is actually understanding how bad you want things,
Okay.
or the will to achieve certain things.
Give me an example of your case scenario.
So for me, let's say there's like tedious real estate work I have to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's not fun. It's like paperwork, stuff like that. You gotta go into like deep hours of work study just to get stuff done. But it's very much necessary for success, right? The thing that made me disciplined and made force myself to do the job is understanding why I want to do it in the first place.
What is your why?
Exactly. That's my point, is what is your why? What are you doing it for? So I had to take a pen, take a paper, and write down, why am I doing this? And once you consistently tell yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? That why has to be the reason why you get up every day and do the things you don't like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not gonna go out here and share specifically what my why is, but all I know is that I have reasons,
Mm-hmm.
and I have people close to me that give me the will to wake up every day and do the things I don't like, because that's what I'm working towards,
Respects. Appreciate the vulnerability.
for sure.
You were talking about your why. Let me ask you, why the path of a realtor?
Well, one, I think I generally do have passion for real estate. When I was a kid, I watched shows like, I'm not sure if you know Property Brothers,
I don't.
but basically it's like they'd go and renovate houses, and there's two twin brothers. Like, one does all the renovation, he's a contractor, and then the other one is a real estate agent. I watched shows like that. As a kid, I played Sims, but I didn't actually play the actual game. More so, I spent time doing customized houses, because you can build your own houses in Sims.
Yeah.
So I would spend hours as a kid just building houses. That's why, like I said, I've always had interest into real estate. I like architecture, interior design. So these things that, like, I think I generally had passion for. But I think the number one thing also was understanding myself. Again, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses. And I've always been a more extroverted person, right? Humbly, I feel like I'm pretty good talking with people, connecting with people, understanding people. So that in itself fits great already within the real estate niche, because the everyday job is always talking to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have enjoyment in talking to people, um, helping people. Obviously, offer services. That's what the job is. But so yeah, it's understanding myself. So I knew that my personality fit, and obviously the money's. So here's the thing with real estate. Real estate is very cutthroat, in a sense that you're either making money or not making any money.
That's sales.
Yeah.
That's sales.
So obviously, there's that, but also the time thing. Like I said, I think I mentioned before earlier, is that you have a lot of time. You can leverage your time, and I'm a realtor now, but the base title for myself, I want to give myself, is just entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and that doesn't mean that my only business will be through real estate. I have goals also to expand and have different business ventures. So real estate gives me that time and leverage to allocate time to other things, other business ventures than just real estate. So
I want to talk to you on your first point, understanding yourself.
yeah,
How do you understand yourself?
honestly, it's a lot of self-reflection, a lot of time to yourself.
Oh, for sure.
I think so. When I first figured out what I wanted to do, it was actually during quarantine,
During COVID.
during COVID. I mean, everyone was inside. Everyone had a lot of time to themselves. They're in their own head. But I was actually in university. I went to UFT. I did management. And quarantine kind of spoiled that experience for me.
Me and you, same.
Like, the online school was not it.
I went into, so I had a 3-year course.
Yeah.
First semester, I was in person.
Right.
2.5 years, I was online.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't fun. Like I said, so there was that. But during that time, I really understood more about myself, because, again, everyone was inside quarantine, right? We had a lot of time to think. And it really comes down to self-reflection, really asking yourself some deep questions and being able to answer that. And one of the days, I just asked myself, like, what do I really want? Am I in school for myself, or am I in school for my parents?
Oof.
You know what I mean? And
That's
I know a lot of people can relate to that.
That's a good one.
I know a lot of people can relate to that, but because at the end of the day, listen, I have utmost respect for my parents. I thank them for everything that they've given me, but I don't want to live my life for them. I want to live my life on my own accord, doing what I want. And all I can ask for them is their support, is that they just support me in whatever I want to do and whatever makes me happy.
I think for me during COVID time, I'm not going to tell my COVID story again,
Yeah.
but to add on to what you were saying about during quarantine for you, same thing for me, where I was just going on walks, talking with my buddy, and just like it was me just more thinking out loud and yapping to him
Yeah.
rather than an actual conversation.
Right.
Because I like to think out loud. So during the summer of 2020, all I really did was after playing ball, I would go outside, take a walk with my bro, and I would just be talking. And like I said, it was just mainly me just yapping and figuring things out. But
Right.
during that time of just me just thinking, I was just really understanding who I am. What am I doing?
Yeah.
What do I like?
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing for anyone is figuring out yourself. And I don't mean figuring out yourself on what I like to do, but I want to say figure yourself on who you are. Who you are. Who is Bryan?
Yeah.
Who is Vincent? Deep down to the core.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, why do you do the things you do?
Yeah.
Are you aware of your subconscious actions that you take? Why do you think this way?
Yeah.
And once I started to think and understand that through a lot of hours of just thinking, late nights, I started to develop and learn about myself and why I do the things I do. I would say my parents, in my perspective, are complete opposites, yin and yang. My mom's very extroverted, outgoing entrepreneur. My dad is, let's say, the opposite, very to himself.
Right.
And sometimes I look at them I'm like, how did you guys get married?
Opposites attract, bro.
Apparently they do. But then I always like to reference them because they gave me two different set of ideas.
Right.
One is this path, another is another extreme path.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank my parents for showing me these two different viewpoints because it gives me a view of where do I want to be along that scale. And I feel like that's where my entrepreneurial spirit came from is I've seen what this life looks like and I've seen what the other life looks like.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard, the life I'm choosing. But at the end of the day, I think it would be worth it.
For sure. Like I said, like, I wouldn't want to live a life of regret. I'd want to live my life knowing I gave it all, trying to achieve my dreams, then live a life that just filled with regret. I was listening to a Denzel speech, I believe, and he said, in your deathbed, there's these souls of unfilled potential, dreams, goals, ambitions that never came to life. And he asked, when you're in your deathbed, how many souls are going to be there for you?
Whoa.
Live life just with no regrets. And that hit me because, like, we're gonna get a little deep here. One of my fears is not fulfilling my potential. And I have extreme confidence in myself that I know from a very young age, I knew I was like, all right, I'm going to do something big in life. I don't know what it is, but I'm meant for something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to chase that. I'm going to chase that. I'm going to work hard towards whatever that is. You know what I mean? But it's more like I'm scared to not live up to that potential that I see for myself. And you know what? I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to surround myself with people around me that believe in the same thing, that have the belief in me, that I have the belief that I can be successful. And those people know who they are, and I'm appreciative of them because obviously entrepreneurship is a very lonely path.
Yeah.
The path to the top is very lonely, but it's nice to know that you have people that believe in you and that is rooting for you. But yeah, I think not living up to my potential is a very scary thing. Very scary thing.
Would you say that is the one fear that keeps you up at night?
I would say so.
That keeps you going?
Yeah. Because I know deep within myself that I'm meant for something more.
Mm-hmm.
That's why on the days that I feel like I'm not doing enough, that guilt always creeps in because I'm not gonna get anywhere if I don't put in the work. You know what I mean?
100%.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Some days you're just like, I want to slack off a little bit, give myself some break.
some days.
But then you look back and you're like, if I just took those hours, those days,
Yeah.
and just put in work.
But that's what I mean. That's where discipline comes in.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, you know, when we talk about the hardest days and stuff like that, right? What's your biggest struggle with entrepreneurship and working towards success and your own journey?
One of my biggest struggles is definitely discipline.
Right.
But I feel like for myself, falling into distractions.
So it kind of goes down with discipline then.
Yeah, it does.
So why do you think you struggle with that? What makes you struggle?
What makes me struggle? That's
Why
that's a good one.
Why are you deciding to make these decisions over doing this instead of doing something more productive or something like that?
I think.
Wait. Do you feel that you're making the right decision at that time, or do you feel a sense of guilt when you make these decisions?
Sometimes depends what. For me, everything for me is about time. I view everything on a timeline perspective. For example, I need to do something, like get this done by the end of the night. but I know I have the whole day. But if I think about it, I only need X amount of hours to finish it. If you, for example, hit me up and be like, yo, you want to go out to eat, or you want to go out and play some sports?
Yeah.
In my mind, that's why I'm a big time and scheduler person. I have agendas, I have whiteboards. If a lot of my friends, if they ask me to go out, or if I make plans, it's always like specific time, specific dates, because I need to plan and schedule everything, right? Because that's just how my mind works.
Right.
I view everything on a timeline, as in, if I know it takes this much amount of hours to finish this, I know I can go splurge 3 hours of my day to go do something.
Yeah. I think which is fine.
Uh-huh.
But has there been situations where you've chosen to make a particular decision over something that maybe you should have prioritized instead?
Mm-hmm. There's I realize there's been many times.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's guilt. Sometimes it's like, okay, I actually got the work done.
Okay.
But then sometimes it's I underestimate
Right.
how long things will take, and then it's a last minute ditch effort to put something out there. Last minute ditch effort to just complete the task. If we go back to school, in elementary school and high school, I was the biggest procrastinator. The biggest procrastinator.
Yeah.
I'm talking, I even came in late. Well, I was doing sports in the morning, so
Yeah.
give me some slack there. I was coming late to school almost every single day, if not every single day. 30 a period, an hour late. Sleep in class. Teachers hated me. Coming late, sleep in class, and do things so last minute. I was not the ideal student to be.
So why is it that us humans can choose to do something when we know it's a wrong thing to do? Like, why is it that we choose something else over something that is probably more beneficial for us?
I think we choose enjoyment. I think we choose the emotion of being happy at that moment over doing something that you know you should be doing but doesn't give you that amount of pleasure.
Would you say that's a lack of discipline?
That's a good question. I don't know. Would you say it's a lack of discipline? Or would you say it's a lack of vision?
I feel like we always have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And every decision that we make always has its consequences.
Mm-hmm.
If, for example, you're in school, if you go out instead of studying, you're going to lose out on that time to study, right? And obviously the consequences is that you might not perform too well on the test or something like that. I think we understand.
Our consequences,
Yeah.
but we still choose
We
to
still
ignore
choose.
it.
Yeah. So what do you think that is? That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it is the lack of discipline. Is that you don't have the discipline to make the hard choice. To do this thing over that.
Sounds like you're attacking me right now.
I'm not attacking you. I think I'm just trying to put like devil's advocate, because the more times that we are aware of ourselves and our decisions, the better we can move forward to be better.
That's that
For ourselves.
awareness, yeah.
Yeah. Because don't get me wrong, I feel like there's a lot of people that are making these decisions and they're not even aware that they are.
I would tell you the biggest struggle of my life. Like, I struggle with this in my whole life.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound dumb to some people, or it's gonna be like, yo, I really resonate with this guy. The biggest struggle of my day or of my life is waking up early and on time.
Damn.
Hardest part of my day.
Why?
I don't know. I think I could obviously say the excuse of, oh, I love sleep, or I just needed more sleep to perform better.
Yeah.
But if I really think about it, if I'm motivated the next day to go out to do something, or I know I have to do something, I'll wake up.
Yeah.
But if I had nothing to look forward to waking up, or I didn't want to do this thing, I'll be like, I'll look at the time, count how much hours I had to sleep, and be like, you know what? I didn't hit my 7 hours. Maybe I'll sleep an extra hour.
But doesn't that go back to motivation and discipline?
Uh-huh.
Discipline will be the thing that gets you up every day,
Uh-huh.
whereas motivation will be the thing that gets you up on certain days.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
do you wake up on time?
Yeah.
what keeps you disciplined to wake up on time every single day?
Lately, I would say I have been,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been on a strict schedule, because I'm working towards something. So I think working towards something, having something to work towards will help,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a reason now. Like I said, there's a reason why you have to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, like I wake up so I can hit the gym, get it out the way in the morning, and then I have the rest of my day to work on what I have to work on. But I feel like that's why it's very important that you do have purpose, you have goals and stuff like that, so you're always working towards something.
Mm-hmm.
Because don't get me wrong, I mean, there's been times in my life where I don't wake up on time, obviously, because sometimes there's no reason to, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no reason to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, it's like some days you're motivated to wake up because there's something to look forward to,
Mhm.
whether it's like you're hanging out with your friends or like there's something like an event you're going to. So I think waking up with having some type of purpose every single day is probably what gets you out of bed.
Final question for you, Brian. If you can go back in time, what would be one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
I think that's easy, bro. Trust in the Lord, man.
Trust in the Lord?
Yeah, it's easy. I feel like if there's one constant in my life through the ups and downs, it's that God's never left my side.
Mm-hmm.
And in anything I do, I give all glory to Him, and I trust in everything and all the plans that He has for me. So the belief I have in myself comes from the belief I have in Him, that He has a plan for me. So also I want to add, like, everything we've mentioned here today, I'm not here in a position to tell you or to tell anyone that I'm this entrepreneur that, you know what I mean, like is talking about all this stuff.
Yeah.
I am a living example that this thing is not hard and that there's many imperfections to humans. Because everything that I've said, I'm not claiming that I'm amazing at it or that I practice it every single day. Every day is a struggle. I experience setbacks. You experience setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I want people to know is that this is the harsh reality of entrepreneurship, is that it's not a perfect journey. It's not a perfect journey.
It's a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster.
With more downtimes.
Yeah, and us humans are not perfect. Every single day, as long as you're putting your foot forward to try to be the best version of yourself, that's what it is. Like, this entire journey is of self-development. It's not about being perfect. It's just about being better than the person that you were yesterday. We're not perfect. And I feel like that's what I want everyone to know, is that it's okay to not be perfect.
Brian.
Appreciate you having me, bro. Great. It's great.
Thank you for the time. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate you
Brian?
having me. It was fun. It was
All right.
great. I had a great time.
Do you want to say my outro for me?
Yeah, I can say it.
Look into the camera and say it.
You know, for the people watching this video, if you got this far, you're a real one. But, you know, everything that we talked about here, it's all a safe space to share our experiences, our struggles, and our journey to become the best version of ourselves. This is what it's all about. Vince created this podcast and this brand to share all this experiences with you guys, to help you guys become the best version of yourself. And it's a great thing. I'm happy and super grateful and lucky to be a part of it. But I just want to wish you guys the best in all your endeavors and journeys that you're going to go in. Continue to believe in yourself and have complete confidence in yourself and trust God.
Thank you for those who have tuned in and stayed to the very end. We appreciate you listening in today, and we hope that you learned something new today. If you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and follow for more future episodes like this. Until then, take care, my friends.